At Colorado State University Global Campus, online education isn't another thing we do. It's all we do. Get an interactive education that's built for working adults like you and that employers demand. Explore your options at csuglobal.edu.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Julia's Trucking Cafe. I'm Julia, your host. I grew up on a dairy farm in central Wisconsin, and I'm the youngest out of 11 kids. My trucking experience is I went to driving school, just like a lot of you newbies out here did, but only back in 1988, when trucking was fun. I started driving, had to go to driving school for about 9 weeks. I started driving in 1990, and I had to be with a trainer for over a year. I really didn't know a whole lot. I drive dry-van and reefer, and I have over 3 million miles of safe driving. I was a company driver for about 26 years, and I got tired of the companies making all the money off of me and just wanted to see something different and do something different and try being my own boss. So in about the last 3 years, I went ahead and decided I was going to try lease purchasing. And there are good companies and bad companies out there, just like anything else. So that's what I'm doing right now, is I'm lease purchasing a truck. I like it. It's not for everybody. And today in this show, in this episode of Julia's Trucking Cafe, I just want to take a moment and let everybody get to know me and my background. And the future episodes, I'll have different guests stopping in, and we'll go over that later. If you'd like to call in, you could call in using our guest line at 213-943-3411. And if we have time close to the end of this hour-long program, I'll answer any questions, or you can find us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Julia's-Trucker-Cafe. Well, in the last few years, I've seen a lot of newbies out here with their trainers, and I felt I wanted to share my experience of these 30 years with them, and this is the best platform that I could find to share my experiences with people. Now, I would like to address an article that I posted on the Trucking Cafe, and that is an article by U.S. Express CEO, Mr. Fuller. Now, this article is dated back in October of 2017. And it states in here that trucker doesn't have the glamour that it did in the 70s, where you had the CB radios and Smokey and the Bandit, and Convoy was the number one hit, which I remember all them days. You know, and it says in here that Brad Pitt could make a movie about trucking and get more people interested in the industry. But if you're out here doing this, you know, it's just, you don't find a place to park, do you? Aren't all the truck stops full? Aren't all the rest areas full? Aren't all the way stations full? I just, you know, and they're saying it's a shortage of, you know, trucks out here. Mr. Fuller also states that he's excited about the ELDs coming in. You know, that came in December. U.S. Express, just to give you a little bit of background, are a $1.5 billion in annual revenue. They have roughly over 7,000 truck drivers and are ranked as America's 16th largest trucking company. And they're privately held. Fuller quotes in this article is saying it's a really big moment for trucking, since the ELDs will put an end to solo truckers bending the rules and exceeding their daily maximum legal limit on driving of around 450 to 500 miles a day. Whoa, wait a minute, Mr. Fuller. Who gave you your information? I have an ELD. I've been driving out here over 30 years. I can do 600 to 680 miles a day because that's what my truck is speed limited to. If your truck is 700, you can do 700 miles. If your truck is speed limited to 70 miles an hour. What is this, 480 to 500 miles a day? That's laughable, y'all. It really, really is. I don't know who's giving him his information, but it isn't right. They're saying they have 100% turnover. If you're such a good company, that is a huge turnover rate. They said we have to hire 7,000 drivers a year to keep even. What are you doing wrong, Mr. Fuller? When you have a 100% turnover rate, what are you doing wrong? Good companies, the smaller companies, mom and pop shops, they have 0 turnover rate. That means their drivers ain't going anywhere. Their drivers aren't going to leave. So, I don't know what y'all doing, but it really doesn't look good. A couple of groups I want to give a shout out to on Facebook is Women in Trucking, OOIDA, OOIDA, and Truckers Haven. Not because I'm partial to them or anything, but they are good groups. People ask a lot of intelligent questions in there. In those groups, women, we have a lot of different issues out here. In the upcoming episodes, I'm going to have, like I said, interviewees on. I'm also going to have a discussion group once a month where it's going to be an open call, and you could call in and ask your question. And remember, if you're new out here, if you have under 5 years experience, yes, you're a newbie. You still don't know a whole lot. Don't come flying down the road like you do, because there's somebody going to be bigger and badder that is going to race around you. All the high wind warnings, I have to adhere to all the high wind warnings. I have been seeing so many trucks rolled over in Wyoming and Colorado, Montana, because of high winds. When they say the road is closed to high-profile vehicles, they're not joking, people. They mean it. You will be blown over. These winds don't play around. I have today my load at 39,000 pounds. I'm going to eastern Tennessee, and it's windy outside, and I'm white-knuckling it. Yeah, I've been out here a long time, and I still get nervous because I never blown a truck over. I never flipped one, and none ever went into the ditch, ever. So I'm just flipping through the Women in Trucking group, seeing if there's any questions I could possibly help them out with. I noticed that now there's 2 men recording themselves shooting at a semi-truck on the highway. One lady is saying that she learned a new lesson the other day, to always keep your eye on the small horse and cow trailers. She was merging onto the highway out in Colorado, and one of those trailers was passing me when all of a sudden the cow leaped to freedom from the trailer. Apparently he didn't have the gate closed. I don't know. I wasn't there. It did a tuck and roll and skidded to a halt about 12 feet in front of her truck. Luckily, she was slowing down and she was able to stop using her flashers. She says it was a little dazed, but it got up and staggered into the ditch. And no, hon, people don't secure their animals in those trailers. Horses, yes, because they like to move around and stomp and throw their heads and everything. Cows, no. Cows and calves and everything, they do not tie them down. They don't secure them. So they can move if they have to lay down, those kind of things. Big cattle trailers, too, they don't secure them down. They have to make the cows stand up so the rest of them wouldn't get trample them. But no, they do not secure their loads. Few other things, analog brakes fail. And the weather, what about this weather out on the East Coast? You're freezing one minute and you're burning up the next. Negative temperatures, and it's crazy. So we're also going to be talking about that. Winter driving, emergency kits, what you should have. Always have extra food in your truck, canned food. One of the guests is going to be on, my friend Lori. She's going to stop by and she's going to discuss cooking in the truck. And what are the best kind of appliances, the small appliances that you can have in your truck. On a few of the upcoming shows, my friend Brian will be stopping in to talk to us about veterans in our industry. Jay will be dropping by to talk about changes that we faced in our industry. He's a old-timer, all-timers like me. He's been out here, claims 40 years, but I don't know. So he's going to be stopping in. I also have a team, Jeff and Linda, be getting questions in some of my groups about what is it like to run a team and who's the best company to work for and running as a team. So Jeff and Linda will be joining us, and we'll discuss how it is to drive as a team, let alone a husband and wife team. And then Phil will be on the show, and he's going to talk about safety and about the ELDs and what does safety department look for as far as drivers, the violations. And like I said, every month we're going to go ahead and have an open discussion. Some more topics. People are usually asking when they're in the middle of training what's a good company to go for, work for, or something. A lot of them will be knocking down your doors. A lot of the bigger companies, they have, or I should say I think they have, that's only my opinion, days where they come in, like a career day, where they come in and they talk to you about their company and they give you all the great stuff that their company does for you and this kind of thing. Home time, pay, miles, all this kind of stuff. Be very wary. Be very wary when you're going to be searching for a company, newbies, anybody listening to this program. Research them. Check the reviews. I've had somebody ask me, the company that I work for, which will be left unnamed, that have I looked at their reviews, No, I actually didn't. I looked at that, anything, in a way, drivers can get ticked off for any little reason, and leave and then throw a bad review up on Facebook or something like that. I kind of look at what the company has to offer me, and I kind of look at that, have they pissed me off yet? Most of our episodes are going to be about an hour long. Today, because of the weather and needing to get my load delivered, I may just cut it short so you won't have to sit and listen to me for a complete hour. There's a good question. This driver is taking his wife out on the road, and for the first time, and he's a flatbedder, and he has to park at his first drop most of the time. So what are some good things for her to bring with her in case she needs to use the restroom? Or when we stay out a weekend and can't decide where to go? Florida, Dallas, Texas, New Mexico, Well, to answer something like that, and there's a lot of good comments on here, to answer along with those comments on for this gentleman is a couple of sets of both kinds of clothes, meaning warm clothes and cold weather clothes, because you never know what you're going to run into. Like, it used to be Texas was hot, Florida was hot. Not anymore. I live in North Mississippi, and it was 9 degrees the other night. Keep the pipes, faucets running, keep the heat on and everything, so bring, heavy jackets, light jackets, if it's a hot day, sandals, a little bit of everything except the kitchen sink. And, it's, as far as using the restroom, I'm not going to really go into that, but us ladies have a little bit of a hard time with that. If he looks into the comments, there is a lot of different variations on an old trick of how women use the restroom. Guys don't have it so hard, but us women, we kind of have to be picky a little bit. And just there again, just scanning through another group that I'm involved with, and I don't know about you, but my Facebook always is catching up all the time on the comments and people, making comments or posts, as well. I want to give a shout out to everybody that has liked the Truckin' Cafe page so far. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. Hopefully everyone will post their comments and their questions on the show's episode for that week, and I will get to them as best I can. There again, this is going to be a weekly program for an hour, and we will be discussing a variety of topics, like I said, on the upcoming shows. So I just want to remind you of that. And you could call in, or you could go on to blogtalk.com/Julia's Trucking Cafe website and listen that way. Now, these episodes will be posted to my website and then shared on the Facebook page. So if you miss this episode, because I know it's 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock in the morning, and not everybody's got to be to work or rolling or something, so you can listen to this podcast anytime. I'll have it usually that evening or the next day. I will have it shared to Facebook. And I look forward to having a really great show and sharing a lot of great content. There again, this first show is going to be a little bit brief. And I hope you all are safe driving and have a blessed day. Stay warm if you're in the cold. Keep your truck running if you have to. If it gets down in the teens, keep it running. You don't want to freeze up on the fuel. Always put anti-gel in under 30 degrees as well. Have extra blankets for emergency kit. There again, we'll be going through that here in the upcoming episodes. And people could call with their suggestions as well. So I bid you adieu. You have a great day. And thanks so much for tuning in.
I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's premier home purchase lender. We've created a new way to protect you from unpredictable interest rates. Our exclusive Rate Shield approval. First, we lock your interest rate for up to 90 days. Then, if rates go up, your rate stays locked. But if rates go down, your rate drops. Either way, you win. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year fixed-rate loans. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030. Additional conditions or exclusions may apply.